It's control, it's brawly, it's skirmishy. This could be WaveCheck's best opportunity to pick a map off of Triumph. They gotta come out of these doors ready, blazing in their saddles, and there we go. WaveCheck running that classic GOATS composition, Triumph as well. No surprises here. Neither side really going for that long distance DPS. We saw quite a bit of Widow and Hanzo just earlier today. So this neutral fight will be all about who burns those cooldowns first. If we can see any kind of isolation. Armor Pack already burned for WaveCheck.
Cooldown management is the name of the game when it comes to GOATS, as Bluff and Kraken are taken low to start things off. Icy on the other side is doing the same, so damage going both ways. Zarios are trying to develop that energy and that graviton surge, both actually in the same position right now in development. But Higan, or Kolush, as some might remember him back in the day, is going to find first blood on the mech, so Icy's going to have to try to get back into it, and Panic going to get the actual first blood of the match, taken down his counterpart in Awkward. Triumph are going to be down a member for the majority of this first point, even though they have already capped it. Yeah, WaveCheck got that first D-Mech onto Icy, and that literally blew this point open. They knew they could just play patiently. They could engage before Icy would be able to get back in mech and essentially have a 65-man advantage. 25%, 24% to Triumph's name. Not too bad here, but WaveCheck now have the ultimates to proactively hold this against Triumph. Probably going to see that Grav come out. Both sides well stocked in terms of that Grav trans battle. So things are going to be pretty even on this next engage, as Triumph is going to be coming onto the point. They're trying to take a little bit more space. WaveCheck going to be seeding a little bit more. The Graviton Surge is going to come out from Higan to start things off. Link still has theirs. Samito using the rally to keep everyone alive. Awkward using the Transcendence to do the exact same thing as Kraken's going to lack in a couple kills. No kills for that self-destruct. Graviton Surge now coming in from Link. Let's see if he's going to find any value from this one. A sound barrier has also been used, so a bunch of ultimates, but no deaths so far, Ham.
No deaths. It's a very long, drawn-out fight, but slowly Triumph are eking things out here. No longer, though, Decod taken down. This is all 3-point percentage for WaveCheck. Triumph needs to be a hasty retreat now. All you're doing is feeding ultimate charge. There's very little chance for you to take this fight with your Reinhardt down, even if you had that ultimate advantage, and Triumph just blew both support ultimates in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, against Envy, Luck had a couple moments where he was pushing Lulsish. He got those charges in. He was the one finding those first picks for WaveCheck when they were finding that success, and we're seeing that happen again here on Ilios. So Triumph now working with just a self-destruct, about halfway through a couple other ultimates, going to go ahead and just throw that self-destruct naked into the backline. Doesn't find anybody from WaveCheck, so they're all going to feel pretty good about that, especially since he was getting back into that mech. So Higan has a free grab to throw, no defense matrix to worry about, and WaveCheck really holding strong here.
Yeah, WaveCheck have the tools to be able to take Ilios Ruins. Triumph unexpectedly stumbling right before that finish line. Decod was caught out, and there was no help for him, even with the cover of Icy's bomb. We're gonna have to see this Transcendence come out sooner rather than later. Triumph needs some way to stall this out.
And so WaveCheck has been looking pretty clean throughout the entirety of this round so far. They're on the defensive side, trying to keep the point and win it. The round of Kraken finally going to get a self-destruct kill for one of these divas. The WaveCheck still ahead in terms of members, but now it's a 5v5, and Lee's going to bring it back. But WaveCheck, calm, cool, and selected in the point so far, as they're going to fall victim to a Graviton Surge coming in from Lynx, but still WaveCheck finding themselves on top of this fight. They're so close to tapping this point.
Yeah, there's only 3 members left, though, for Triumph, and while WaveCheck are lacking in ultimates, there were no bodies on the point.
Wow, look at how empty the point is right now.
That's a classic allergic to objective right there.
It is allergy season.
It is, it is.
Yep, and so WaveCheck going up 1-0, and that's got to feel bad for Chop, because guess what? It's his birthday, so can we get some happy birthdays in the chat for Chop on Triumph? And so WaveCheck making sure that he's not going to get his present a little early today, though. Chop would probably love a nice gift-wrapped Ilios round for Triumph. And now that we're moving on to Well, things might be a little bit different here. It's a different kind of map. WaveCheck showed that their GOATs can be strong against Envy, and it's actually showing up here. That GOATs v GOATs matchup against Triumph definitely went WaveCheck's way.
Yeah, they started things out strong, and Triumph just couldn't catch quite up. However, there's a big advantage to any team that likes playing that Orisa pharmacy type composition here on Well. So many juicy boop opportunities, and as long as you can establish dominance on this point first, you're going to force WaveCheck to just ram their faces into your damage over and over again just to try and contest. WaveCheck have gone back to spawn, going to swap things up to their own bunker-esque type composition with an Orisa, but they're running Hegon on the hog for extra boops. However, Luft, you got to stay on the playing field first before your team gets too hungry.
Does stay out of the well. Hegon's going to find another first blood. That's the same thing that happened the last time around. His Luft getting dangerously close to falling in. Those concussive grenades not quite working so far up in the air. Ice still trying to find that kill. He's 50% up to that rocket barrage as WaveCheck going to continue their dominance so far here on Control. Triumph trying their best, trying to take a little bit more space, staying in the corner with that Orisa, trying to find that pick with the Hanzo. But as of right now, WaveCheck playing pretty safely and playing really well so far.
Yeah, Triumph ironically not able to turn that point first despite having their players on the objective first. Hegon I'm the flanker now.
And the Dragon Strike is going to go through the team. WaveCheck are going to have to take a little bit of space. There's another hook coming in from Hegon. Going to try to even things up. If it worked for those points and yoink. WaveCheck might have already lost this point, but Triumph having to work so hard to try to bring it back. He lands another hook. Whole hog is coming through as well, going to bring this right back for WaveCheck.
So unlucky. Deca tried to take that 1v1 and Hegon getting absolutely peppered. He wasn't expecting that pig to turn around and throw those iron scraps right back into your face. That is not how you get dental fillings, my friends. And Triumph now, though, despite all of those check marks, despite the barrage nearly online, they still have not won a single fight. And you wouldn't really know it for how long they've just been brawling out here, but Hegon's pig is so hard to take down. He's self-sufficient. He has a CC of his own.
EMP goes through. Hegon finally going to be going back to spawn, but they do find a return kill on Icy during the barrage that doesn't get any kills of its own. And right now, Trade's going back and forth. Triumph, I believe, needs to win this fight, or else it's going to be so hard for them to come back from WaveCheck when they do re-engage. WaveCheck will have an EMP of their own, and that's why they're probably going to feel okay about losing the point right now, because this EMP might be all that they need to wrap up Ilias.
Indeed, and Triumph hopefully know that their own Link's not even close to that Sombra ultimate. They used every tool that they had to just try and capture this point, but now they have to hold on desperately with their lives. Chopped will have ult soon, but WaveCheck already trying to circle around, put Jade in a place where she can attack them back.
Self-destruct, trying to take the Pharah out of the battle, isn't able to do that as Icy actually going to get a kill on it to Panic, so they're not going to get that Nana that was very close. Jade holding on to that EMP, they've got time to work with. WaveCheck playing smart right there.
I like what you said. We're playing smart, playing very cool and collected. You know, if I was WaveCheck here, I took that first win on Elio so easily. I'm so close to a control win against Triumph. I might be letting my discipline slip, but not WaveCheck. They hold back. They go for these clean fights. They know they only need one good engagement, so there's no point in feeding ultimates and staggering, trying to go for picks here and there. So Shield Break going to be first up on the menu for Hegon. That's really going to open things up for any antis Panic wants to throw their way.
We got a secret pick. He also did take a look at the Sombra as well on the way over there. EMP can go both ways. One, it could be better than the other, and Triumph actually going to find way more value out of their EMP for numbers pack. But Trade's coming in right now with that res. Things are still going to be a little bit better for WaveCheck because Awkward was taken down because of that hog panicking. So close to escaping, but has to go back to spawn. WaveCheck still, though, in control. They just got to flip it. If they flip it here, they probably win the map.
Very likely Triumph's numbers being cut down here. What a crucial play by Hegon to camp the res and take Awkward out of the game. That was the turning point for WaveCheck here. Luft's going to be coming, rolling back in with that Hammond. Same could be said for Deca. He gets hacked almost immediately. WaveCheck now just need to finish their play. We've seen many a team be unable to accomplish this, however, with the pressure of overtime on their shoulders.
That's a nice hack on to the pig. Take a breather. Sammy's going to get a kill onto Kraken lagging. Goes one onto the head. It's going to pile drive though. It returns. Luft trying to bring this back.
Are they turning this around?
It's actually becoming super close right now. Sammy's getting more kills, but Juby getting a boop kill. Sammy's going to be the hero for Triumph as they are going to flip the point. WaveCheck though do have some time to come back. We've got Luft switching over to Orisa because they want to prolong the fight onto the point so some of WaveCheck can get to that those ultimates, particularly that EMP.
Need this EMP. It's the closest one here. It's the best chance, but Lynx already has it in hand. Triumph holding all the cards right now. 3 seconds for Wave Check to get something done.
Overtime it does start. Someone's got to be on at the point. We already saw some letter numbers and shenanigans. Almost saw another one right there. Is he gonna get hacked because that EMP has no casualties so far other than the mech, as Sammy's gonna throw that Dragon Strike, take away a lot of the map from a Wave Check, and so now they're going to be forced to play a game that potentially Tribe wants to already play. Is Jade's going to get another melee kill onto Lynx on the other side. The Wave Check has that 65 EMP now going it through. I don't believe that actually hit anybody on Triumph's side. Awkward Valkyrie is going to run out very shortly, did just use it. Now Triumph now still lacking members. Kraken Knight get another pick. Wave Check gonna flip that point right back, and it's 99-99, and the battle is still going on around the well.
Still raging here. Icy though, he's waiting to drop this barrage, but he needs the correct time. He's so incredibly vulnerable, and this is a sight you don't see too often. Illusio booming a Hammond of all people into the well. Triumph's chances slowly dwindling.
Timmy wasn't even in the well, Ham. Lassie wasn't there either. They just went straight down to the bottom, but it's not over until it's over. Triumph coming back with 3 return kills on it to Wave Check. These overtime spots are going to be brutal for each and every death. They're going to be longer. Wave Check, though, is going to lose the point, and Triumph is going to flip it just in time. Link's going to get a lot of damage on with the Tracer so close to that pole spawn, and the Hammond going to go right back into the well. Wave Check might have lost this thing.
Oh man, 2 Hammond boobs. I'd be happy birthday, Chopped. What a great gift here. Triumph tying things up after what seems like an eternity on well. Who would have thought that these two teams so evenly matched on control at least, but man alive, it was so back and forth group. It just felt like neither team in that, late fight crunch were really able to focus down on any single target. We would see, the Hammonds getting peppered down, the Orisa's taking a ton of damage, and then suddenly some random Ana just dies because your Roadhog has been freelancing in the backline. And that kind of seemed to be the tale of that whole, well round. It's, hey, we're trying to find picks where we can find them, and while, that may sustain this fight, may drag things out longer, you're not really going to get those clean engagements that you'd really hope for.
They were definitely playing with a lot of emotion there, and one team didn't let the emotion get a hold of them as much. There's definitely some mistakes happening on both sides as Triumph and Wave Check are going to find each other. And look at this beautiful picture we're seeing. This is so goats v goats. Right?
Is this a Greek standoff?
Aggressive eye contact to each other. You're going to come to me. No, you're going to come to me. Well, actually, we're going to go to each other and meet right in the middle. The Decoy going to be taken, though, but so is Luff. Who will be the first to die? It's going to be Sammy Joe taking Luff down. So Triumph has an early 64 as the point opens. So should be Triumph's point to take.
Yeah, such a man advantage. There's almost no way for Wave Check to bring this back, and indeed they don't. Zenyatta is going to be the last one on the sacrificial table as Triumph take this first fight. A little bit of a pause coming through. Not quite sure if one of our teams experiencing a little bit of a technical issue, but Wave Check have shown that they've been able to rebound back from those early lost fights. It's going to be hard to do, though, here on Lighthouse. Triumph, I feel like maybe they're just now warming up back into it. This is a little bit more like the team that we've grown used to, watching their journey coming up through Open Division and Trials.
Well, the thing about this pause, though, is I think it actually helps both of them. We saw how long Well took, right? That was almost the length of an entire map, just that round. And, we saw some balls going into some wells. We saw some environmental kills. We saw some good DPS, particularly from Samito's Hanzo, finding clutch headshots, both where his team would win and lose afterward, but eventually Triumph were able to get on top of Wave Check. But I do believe both of these teams would probably be okay with this pause. Let those nerves go down just a little bit.
Clear
I'm
the
sure
head.
That tingling in their fingers is going to deplete so they can feel fresh going into this last round. But both teams, if we're being completely honest with you, not necessarily playing incredibly clean, but that's part of the fun, right? When both teams are just grinding it out against each other, playing with that kind of emotion, and the strategy is win.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That is super fun to watch. We definitely saw that there by the end of Well. So in terms of what both of these teams do need to clean up, Ham, where would you start for Wave Check?
I mean, I would say just generally coming in with a plan and making sure that you're sticking with this plan. It was a very disjointed fight, so we didn't really see a lot of teamwork coming through. We didn't see a lot of, for example, halt hook type combos that we know are extremely powerful. But what we did see, and what I'm actually extremely excited about coming into this new season, is the chance for individual plays to shine. Right? When you're on a Roadhog, it is all about whether or not you can land your abilities. And while Hegon wasn't necessarily synergizing with that halt hook a ton, we saw how proficient he is at, just absolutely neutralizing Pharahs, neutralizing Mercies just by existing in that one spot, right? He actually got that kill after Awkward went in for that res, camping the body. And, it's just those kinds of little clutch moments, or well, not necessarily clutch moments, but little, heads up plays where, you as a main tank are probably, worrying about something, holding down the point, your shield's cracking, something like that. You can trust that the rest of your players can go out and basically be sufficient on their own, that you're not going to have to be constantly worrying about where their positioning is, whether or not they're healthy. We actually saw quite a bit of this on Paris in today's very first map, where we saw, not Paris, but we saw speedily on Doomfist and Sombra together, which just throwing this out there, I think we should call Ghostbusters, Invisifist, something like that. Ghostbusters.
I like it.
But yeah, and one of the reasons that these two heroes, Doomfist and Sombra, are so incredibly strong is besides, what they offer in terms of damage, they're both very self-sufficient. It's so much less pressure on your tanks and a lot less pressure on your backline as well.
Well, on the other side, I think you kind of nailed it. Triumph needed some time to warm up in their victory against Montreal in week 1 as well. One of the biggest things was they were on Busan at the time, and Awkward would trans without there being a grab. And so eventually Awkward ended up, I think, being one of the stronger players for Triumph by the end of that series. But there was definitely a little bit of time that they needed to warm up warm up their comms, warm up when they're going to use their ultimates, knowing their ultimate economy and knowing the opponent's ultimate economy. But once they were able to figure it out, there was really just an exponential upward trajectory from that first map last week. This time around, things are split and they are in charge of the point when we do come back on this pause. So Triumph already have a slight advantage on a Lighthouse. But warming up, though, that's a thing that a lot of teams do need to figure out how to do a little bit earlier. If you need a good idea of how to not lose control, just look at Fusion University and their entire time here in the North American Contenders. Now going to be playing Runaway a little bit later this morning, tomorrow morning, right? And so Wave Check and Triumph are going to come right back, and they're 50% for Triumph on at the point already, so Wave Check going to have to try again to come on it too at the point. And look at where the Diva is. I like where it is. We were told that this might be a nice Diva. That's really nice high ground management. We see a lot of the map, give their team a lot of information. And so Wave Check already losing lots, though, means that Triumph will probably open point for a little longer, maybe even way longer, looking at their ultimate economy.
Yeah, that's a frightening economy right there. Wave Check. This is, the second, third time Luft has been first blooded, and this is a trend that we saw in just the previous matchup. Reinhardt's falling first, and while as a main tank, there's only so much of your destiny that you can take into your own hands. You are very dependent upon, armor packs, bubbles from your opponents. A lot of it is that positioning. And now Triumph will have to wait for yet another pause. I was going to say, luckily in the first pause, we didn't see anybody disconnect and lose all of that ultimate charge. Hopefully things will, settle down just a little bit before we continue. But as I was saying, as a Reinhardt, a lot of times it's you really do have to have just eyes on the back of your head, right? Because when you are playing, it's not just about what you can achieve, but what resources you're forcing your team to put into you to keep you alive. Many a time we've seen, teams pop trans early because the Zen is under pressure, but also a lot of times because the Rhine is just been taken so low, just through good old hammer swings, getting whacked around, that the Zen is forced to pop trans to keep the main tank alive, keep that primary shield in front of your team. And after that, it is just fight over because your opponents know it's going to be a free grab. It's a really tough thing.
So do you guys want to hear another interesting fact about Triumph?
Ooh.
So one time I was
that their antlers aren't anatomically correct.
Well, they're probably one of the most teamwork oriented copy pasta groups in the entire league. The amount of effort the Triumph fans put into making sure their copy passes are all happening at the same time. They count themselves down 3, 2, 1, and go.
Boom,
and
enter.
honestly, a lot of it is pretty funny. I do enjoy some of it, most of it, if not all of it, really. But yeah, definitely, I'm sure they're doing it right now.
I have absolutely no doubt. It's Trump's birthday. I'm sure there's some there. Icy, always a really good, one to put out the pastas for. So hopefully, keeping those pastas fresh and al dente. But Triumph again. Coming in here, they seem like such a solid GOATS team. The difficulty that that Revival ran into in today's first match was, while they're an extremely strong GOATS team, they obviously haven't, scrimmed a lot. They haven't practiced a lot against compositions that run more on mobility and damage. I mean, given the unfortunate 0-4 scoreline in their matchup today. So I'm just really curious how much Triumph will be able to adapt, because they are a team that, kind of needs that ramp up time. They maybe need a little bit of warm up, and WaveCheck should, just keep that in the back of their mind, that maybe if they just pull something out, go with the surprise, maybe go with a little bit of cheese. You always need a little bit of cheese on top of your al dente pastas, that they could, potentially take Triumph off of their game.
That's what I say when I'm like playing comp and I'm like 0-6, right? I'm still warming up. I just need a little bit of time. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna play Sim. Everything's gonna be cool. I've been playing Doomfist all day and I'm still 0-6. So let's change things up. I'm done with my warm up. I'm gonna win this time around. And we're done with this pause as we're coming right back into it. As Triumph still maintain a pretty good ultimate advantage. The self-destruct is gonna be thrown out into the room. They probably actually didn't need that. So the ultimate economy advantage does complete for them just a little bit, but WaveCheck going to be lagging behind that Graviton Surge just a little while longer by the end of the next fight, or even this one, because they're actually feeding Gigan some good charge just by trying to poke him down. Samito with that Brig, things have evened up in terms of ultimate economy, so Triumph losing a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, this is the tried and true camping spot for Divas here. First discovered by Johnny, potentially, but now exploited by Icy. This is a perfect place to swoop down on WaveCheck, go for that move, see if we can set something up.
Graviton Surge comes right out. WaveCheck were unable to get to there. Self-destruct now coming from Kraken, using it in a defensive fashion just to make sure that Triumph couldn't go through with that damage into their own Graviton Surge. Awkward has that Transcendence. Shop's going to use that sound barrier. Good job not layering those. We've seen that happen quite a bit. Gigan going to get his grab in. We were talking so much about that grab. Now the Earth Shatter coming through. 3 members on the ground from WaveCheck, but at least they got some armor and shield. Like Panic, the only one that's going to be the casualty, but sometimes that's going to be enough as we do see Kraken fall off the map. Triumph going to come out on top once more, and they are going to win the match.
So unlucky, Panic being the first one down, especially in these long, brawly fights. You need every ounce of help that you can get, and that Discord's so good at enabling your team to shred those tanks. And, especially when your opponents are running their own very capable Zenyatta, that's a loss that WaveCheck just couldn't afford in such a dire moment.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Again, at the first pause, yeah, both teams might have needed it, but by the second one, you start getting cold, right? You start thinking about other things, about your homework assignment you need, or the essay that you're going to have to write a little bit later. As a lot of these guys are still in high school, still going to college, and there's a lot of stuff on their plate while also being professional, semi-professional, professional athletes here in Contenders, with their dream potentially being an owl. And that could happen literally the next week, as IM37 spent 1 week here in Contenders, actually was on WaveCheck for a hot second as well through his speed run to potentially becoming commissioner of the Overwatch League in the future. As we're checking out some of these replays, and WaveCheck looks so good on this point, specifically on Ruins. Their Goats v Goats definitely was better here. What was the difference here on Ruins versus the other two maps? There was a little bit more diversity on it, but the Goats v Goats not going so well for them on Lighthouse. Yeah,
they had such an insurmountable, it felt like, ultimate advantage after winning the first couple of fights. That Triumph were chewing through that ultimate economy and never really found, an advantage themselves. On Well here, it was a little bit more scattered. You have some inherent value, differences between running a Roadhog and running Pharah, but I would just say that Triumph, unfortunately wasn't really able to find as much value from Icy's Pharah as they would have liked. We've seen how a very skilled Pharah can just wreck an opposing team just in XL2's game with Speedily's Pharah. Or if you want to look to Overwatch League Ding's Pharah just yesterday, I believe, absolutely doming fools. But if your Pharah isn't going to be producing as much, getting those barrage kills, getting multiple barrage kills with each ultimate, then you're spending a lot of time, you're tanking a lot of damage for not a lot of payoff in the end.
Well, we also saw Icy on that Pharah barrage and just die with no return kills, because remember, you're most likely going to die during the barrage, so you have to take someone down with you, and hopefully you're going to take multiple people down, give your side a numbers advantage, which will be very helpful when they do get onto Paris. This is the flying grounds of some Pharahs, but I'm sure both of these teams looking to chop some wings if they do see that. This first point, so defensively focused, definitely going to be seeing some bunker, maybe even some Batiste there on the defensive side, maybe even the offensive side, as Orissa's could be found on both.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of Mei, maybe a little bit of a Torb in my life. You never quite know, but because the objective itself is very open, but there are so many small hallways and corners that you can use defensively to duck behind. We're probably going to see quite a few long, drawn out fights here. We're not going to likely see a massive engagement until one side or the other works up to those ults. Before you get there, if we do see that bunker, it's likely just going to be that, more of that shield break, right? Try and give yourself an advantage in that neutral fight.
I think what's more important to talk about is kind of what you think the offense might be running, because on the defensive side, I don't really see why you wouldn't be running a type of bunker based on where, this kiosk is. You're going to see most teams, pop up shop on that kiosk and just stay there potentially for the entire time that it takes for WaveCheck to come in and maybe even never break through it. And on the attacking side, we've got Higan on the Roadhog, and everyone else running a little bit more of that group variation as Triumph going to have their Torb and Orisa bunker.
Oh, interesting. No Zarya for WaveCheck here. Oh, nice. Bear, that is a hook 2.0. It's been so long since we've been able to talk about the mechanics of Roadhog hooks, but WaveCheck not wasting any time at all, immediately rotating onto the objective. I love this. Orisa not mobile. She has to set up the shield. It's only up every 8 seconds, and so WaveCheck can take a very advantageous position here, try and spam up to some of those ultimates, or just rush them.
Yeah, so Triumph, getting that first pick. Train's going now. It's 5v5. I actually think that Triumph could have been a little bit more patient on that rotation. They were able to get that res. You got to camp those bodies. The Mercies are here. They're here to stay, especially on this map, as Link's going to find a kill with that Ashe. He got almost finding another casualty on his way down onto the low ground as WaveCheck overcoming Triumph on their defense. And while the rotation can be very hard for Triumph, I would have really liked them to be a little bit more patient. I don't think they needed to seek that high ground as quickly as they did.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate. This is exactly how you work against a bunker comp. These bunker heroes work very well at the mid-range besides Ashe. But despite all of that, WaveCheck, oh, this is, is this XL2? Is this Revival?
So Triumph's going to be coming back from a massive numbers disadvantage, and WaveCheck showing a little bit of, I think that, path pro trials, thing that we see with these teams is they can't close out fights. We saw Square One do that last week. It's these teams need to clean up these fights. XL2 did it on, last week too. So it's not really just the path to pro. It's just Contenders in general, where you get a couple picks, but the fights last so long, everyone gets to come back anyway.
Exactly. You have to remember DPS are back in the game. So even with a single hero on the point, they could take you down. So you can never rest.
So the pile drive was actually canceled because of a nice hook coming in from Higan, and they're going to find that 6v5. They've gotten rid of the Torn turret, so things are going to be a little bit easier for them to try to find themselves onto the point. The self-destruct is out. Kraken is finally not going to be lacking there on that self-destruct. It's the birthday boy going to be taken back to spawn. WaveCheck this time around going to be doing a little bit better in focus fire, cleaning up the point as Triumph going to have to try again potentially on B. There's also a little less room to work with as they were able to get a couple ticks on their last attack, and they do finish off point A with 5 minutes and 25 seconds left.
Really like how WaveCheck approached this. It's so hard to come up against the bunkers, and oftentimes you see that poke game last for 5 minutes, but they worked their advantage. We have more beefy bodies than you, and we're all about speed boosting onto the point and just pressuring that objective, and Triumph had no way feasibly to hold them at bay. Even with Link's best efforts, wasn't able to find enough kills to just hold WaveCheck back. And now they're down ultimates and looking at a very tough point in defense.
All right, they're going to be going through Globe this time around, and Triumph was ready for him as they're trying to bring the fight back onto the point, and we're going to see that class's Reinhardt being Reinhardt go, and so Higan going to get another kill. He has had himself a game on Ilios, now on Paris. Higan is the man finding those kills, going on those flanks. He's been playing an amazing Roadhog. Yes, he's on that Zarya right now, just switched, is already at 53%, beating Lynx in terms of that ult charge. WaveCheck looking so strong right now. They're really trying to grab this point right here and right now. That Sapphire tells me so, but Triumph doesn't like listening to that kind of music because Triumph still trying to come right back. They are going to benefit from some defensive spawns. They were WaveCheck were so close to capping that point, 95.9% for WaveCheck, but they're going to have to try one more time. This time, with a little bit more leeway, though.
Yeah, Samito on what usually would be a desperation Doomfist for most teams, but actually worked wonders here for Triumph's defense. This is the thing, you know, Higan was a big part of why WaveCheck was able to melt DCOD down so early. You need your Zarya to be focused down as the primary damage dealer on the targets that you want to kill fastest, but that also means that the Zarya is probably going to be, you know, one of those healing in the backline, trying to save your Zen from that Doomfist. So Samito did really well to split WaveCheck's attention there when they were already down there.
And so we're seeing that dance happen right now. DCOD gonna get stunned and then whip-shotted away. Graviton Surge now into both teams. The second one coming in from Triumph. The Transcendence now gonna keep everyone from Triumph alive. Is WaveCheck gonna give this one up, even though they invested that Graviton Surge? Triumph gonna be coming out on top.
That was a little awkward. That was a little bit more of the old awkward there. Triumph were almost certainly going to win that fight. I don't think really needed that Transcendence at all. That means even though Higan has, you know, is only 5% up to his ult now, as long as he tries and, you know, works up to that fast, there's a potential that WaveCheck could have this free grab now that they know that the Trans is off the table. At least we know that Luft may be able to land a big shatter, and Chop Sound Barrier will be the only thing standing between Triumph and a potential loss.
And so WaveCheck going the exact same path. So Triumph have done this before. They've been to rehearsal, and now it's time for the performance here with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left for their defense. They've already taken about 3 minutes off the clock. There was about 5.5 minutes for WaveCheck coming to this point, so they should feel pretty good about it. As Kraken just going to leave the self-destruct there. No Bishu bomb at that moment in time. The charge's not going to land either because of some CC. Triumph, though, needed to invest that sound barrier. The Earthshatter's going to be going down. Lynx is on the ground, but so is Samito, so there isn't going to be a stun for them. Triumph already losing a member. WaveCheck now have that 65 and Panic going to get that kill onto Samito. Now the Jade gets that kill to 64. This is one of the better openings they've had since they've gotten to point B so far since their initial push. And so now that Transcendence is coming out from Awkward, there is no grab on the other side. He's lucky, but that means that Higan knows that once that grab comes online, it can be the end of the map for Triumph. But with Juby getting the kill on the Tooth, it's going to be a lot harder for WaveCheck to do that. Higan has that Graviton Surge. Is he going to use it? Kraken like it takes that kill. And by now it's going to be a great time. There are no support ultimates on the other side. This should be WaveCheck's to take, and Triumph does not get the defense. WaveCheck finding 2 points here on Paris.
Kraka certainly not lacking right there. Able to find the finishing blow on Lynx. That it was so close. The Zaryas were like 2% away from each other, racing for that grab. And if Triumph had been able to land a grab on even a single target and kill them, they would have very likely held that. Unfortunately, really? I think so. I'm going to give Triumph the benefit of the doubt here. But in essence, WaveCheck, again, really good target prioritization from this Trials team when things have started to matter. Triumph, you know, working with what they had there, held for quite a bit of time here, considering how much time WaveCheck had when they headed into point B.
WaveCheck definitely thinking about, do I invest this? We just lost a member, but we know there are no support ultimates on the other side. This grab is pretty much free, and when they do finally get that grab out, there is no defensive opportunity for Triumph at that moment in time because, again, no support ultimates. All the damage is going to land. It's pretty much just true damage at that point in time. The ally barrier and the self barrier is only going to be doing so much. If you're that Zarya, WaveCheck understanding their opportunity and taking it in that moment in time. But now Triumph is going to have to try to do their own attack. There's 1 minute and 40 seconds left for WaveCheck. That's all right for them, especially on Paris, as Triumph going to have to go through. This time, though, not Narissa on the defensive side. We definitely see how popular that main tank can be here, especially on the high ground by the kiosk.
Revival was just running this Winston, and Link's gonna take a nap right out of spot. That's a feels good, man. That is a feels good for Panic here, because since WaveCheck are running this dive tank on defense, it's all about generating that early Primal Rage charge as quickly as possible. But again, Luft, who has fallen first many a time in these fights, has to tread that line between finding ultimate value and overextending.
Kraken going to find that first blood on this defensive side, and so Triumph is still going to be working with the Pharah in the air. They're really going to be going for that Rocket Barrage, so Triumph taking some casualties, going to be investing that res onto Link. Samito also getting taken very low, but really this is the wait for Pharah's Barrage for Triumph.
Wait for Farah's Barrage, potentially wait for that EMP, whichever one happens to come first. But Panic getting some really quality sleeps here. Sleep onto Decod helped WaveCheck end that last fight, took him out. However, again, you can never really rest when there are DPS on the field here. Panic will have this nano, likely going to go on to left so we can have a bit more point presence.
Icy finally finding that pick. It is very close to that Barrage, 83%. Are they even going to need it with these few picks already? They found themselves at a 6v4. Panic dying before they get the nano. There are no more ultimates for WaveCheck either. Triumph definitely ahead in terms of ultimate economy. This is looking really bad for WaveCheck. Closer to low tide than high tide. Triumph, though, taking advantage of that. 3 ultimates for them. They're going to have everything that they need to walk into the second point. We know the snowball potential on all assault maps. Triumph now have a nano. They have Valkyrie, potentially EMP to, bring things up for this fight.
This is a lot of ultimates to weather for WaveCheck, who don't even have a sound barrier yet. They need to go aggressive in order to hold this defense. Triumph, though, can take all the time in the world because they really only need one good fight for that. And now this time around, it's going to be Awkward landing a really nice sleep.
Bob, do something! Let's see if he's going to do anything. Usually it's just a nice zoning opportunity as Bob's going to be peppering in some energy for the Zarya on the opposing side. WaveCheck unable to defend against what Triumph is bringing at them. Icy used that Barrage, gets 1.5 kills. That's exactly what you want to see. And he's able to survive and continue getting those rockets in at those teeth here on the second point. 5.5 minutes for Triumph, but 3 kills now for WaveCheck. This is definitely not over for them. Eventually the spawns will be in their favor, and with these kills, lip shot kill onto the Pharah definitely feels good. Triumph unable to cap it. Very good opportunity for them. We're definitely going to be seeing some character shifts, though, in response.
Yeah, Triumph, now that they have expended those ultimates, going to go for maybe the longer, slower, steadier race here with the GOATS look. These point B fights can drag on so incredibly long, and as a Pharah, you expend that Barrage, and essentially you're just a juicy target, a bird, waiting to be plucked down from the sky as you work back up to that ultimate. So with this GOATS comp, you can at least start rotating, cycling those ultimates while drawing them out of WaveCheck. Triumph also a lot more experienced running this composition. So you gotta just go and play whatever comp can have you hold the most cards.
If you find yourself in a position where you're just not feeling it, just go GOATS, am I right? So Triumph now going to be going GOATS, and that means they're going to be at an ultimate disadvantage for the foreseeable future. They do have a lot of time to work with. WaveCheck should be winning these next couple fights because Triumph, again, still trying to get to those check bars, trying to fill out their ult economy. Is Left jumping into the backline. Awkward's not going to be long for this world already. A 6v5 for WaveCheck. They've taken the Primal Rage out of Luft already, and so WaveCheck investing some ultimates in at this fight that Triumph was most likely always going to lose.
Yeah, very likely. This is how you pop Primal Rage, making sure that you're not going to be falling first in this fight. So with that extra bit of disruption, with that bit of sustained, WaveCheck will continue to hold this defense. They have given up 2 ticks though, so Triumph starting to get into that rhythm, and smart swap from Luft back onto the Reinhardt. This fight has been going on so long that WaveCheck know Decod will have matter. And while you're not going to have that ultimate yourself for quite some time, at least you can deny him that free open field. So
it's not even like you give up a ton of AoE damage as well, as the hammer is going to put in a little bit more sustained damage. You're giving up mobility, but here on at this point, I think the Reinhardt is going to be a little bit more applicable to what their game plan is. As the Graviton Surge goes through, Transcendence is there in response. Are they able to get the shield away? No, they are not. No displacement onto the Reinhardts. Now it's going to be on the other side. Graviton Surge still not getting anything. Awkward going to be coming in a little late with that Transcendence, just making sure his team is alive and well. The armor is going to complete for Triumph here eventually as well. And so this is just going to be a no ultimate fight until Icy gets to that self-destruct. Decod will get to an Earth Shatter very, very soon, and they got to make sure they stay on the point. They've given up some progress, just trying to give Seed a little bit of space. And Decod gonna get that kill. Earth Shatter goes down. Hegon is on the ground. Self-destruct is out as well. Triumph definitely has more bodies around the statue. The Transcendence is just gonna be a delay here. That's a really great charge, taking them off of the point. Round 2 complete. Triumph gonna get 2 points of their own.
I like how both teams came into that point B fight with like 10 ultimates, popped every single one within the first 5 seconds, and ended up winning it in the neutral fight. I mean, welcome to Mirror Goats, where everything's made up and the ults don't matter. I think, though, this is where you start to see Triumph pull away from the bulk of the rest of the Trials teams. Triumph has been together through thick and thin. This roster, their fan base, their community have been so together, and you can tell that they have each other's backs. And when it comes to that Goats game, when it comes to that good old-fashioned vanilla Overwatch, they are able to triumph against their opponents. WaveCheck, they were kind of just left standing there empty-handed when they had run out of ultimates, right? It's like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna we're gonna try and stall this out just a little bit longer, right? You always have to have that plan for when there are no more ultimates online, who's going to be where, who's going to be positioned where, who's going to be getting the resources. And unfortunately, that time around, WaveCheck just couldn't hold.
Yeah, it's actually very common in a lot of different fields. I'm going to bring a music analogy here, as we were both musicians growing up. And so when you're struggling with a piece of music, right, and then you get that part that you're struggling right, most of the time, the thing immediately following that you've never messed up on, you will mess up because you're like not used to getting that right. So they got through the ultimates, and then just like you said, it's like, oh, this part is here now, right? They're so probably excited and they're so ready to get through that ultimate, kind of fiasco with no kills going through there, that by the time they get to that neutral fight where there are no more ultimates, they had to recover. They were coming out from the back foot. They had to catch up because Triumph was way more prepared for that than WaveTech was. And you can see by the time Bank, 1 minute and 16 seconds is not a long time, especially for this first point. Nice TNT coming in from Lynx. Look at how quickly he's already developing that ult, beating the Ana from the other side, one of the fastest building ults in the game. That Nano is getting beat by Lynx right now. Bob's going to be here in no time, and there's actually not going to a lot for WaveCheck to deal with Bob. The hook could potentially bring him into a place or get him down into the water, but Bob might actually do something here, as there is going to be a nano on it too. Luft is going to get a nice upswipe onto him as well. Kraken and Hegon, though, going to take him out of this fight. Lynx gets maybe a little too cocky if they're going to find that casualty. Triumph, though, maybe giving up this point. A couple people from WaveCheck taking a little low, but they're feeling pretty good and healthy so far. Jade's going to take out that Mercy, and without that Mercy and without that Zen, Triumph is going to have a very hard time maintaining any sort of presence on the objective.
I really, really like the way that WaveCheck continue to approach this point A, one of the hardest points to assault in Overwatch, and the determination and kind of just that ability to keep their wits about them. I mean, ironically, given, the fact that they gave up point B in just the last round, but Crackalack, and knowing exactly how far he can push his mech before he has to duck underneath the overhang and pick up that mini, knowing that Triumph has no way to follow him, chase him, punish him. Not just that, but WaveCheck's ability to, swoop and corral Chopped away from the team to take down that backline shows really good target prioritization. However, now they have to deal with the bomb, the tire, even a single kill won't do this push.
I like that Samito is hiding as well, so WaveCheck has to decide if the bomb or the tire is going to come in, but the hack is going to make sure that the tire is going to be a little late. Take out the Lucio right away. WaveCheck are going to fall here. Triumph finding their footing here on point B in the nick of time. The EMP is just going to be because you had it. WaveCheck will be losing this out on the second point. 3 points, though, pretty good, but there is a minute and 20 seconds more for Triumph to work with. WaveCheck need to try as hard as they can to keep them on A, because a draw here isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Definitely gives you something to play for. And WaveCheck had, some pretty good defenses on point A. They were able to win a couple of fights, so it's definitely not over yet for this team. But Triumph, they themselves do struggle when it comes to the bunker comp. And as, you know, laudatory as I am about WaveCheck's ability to take that point A with such decision and clean execution, Triumph struggled mightily with not only clockwork comp, but just, you know, bunker comps in general, anything that wasn't that 3-3 during trials. So you can't expect them to, you know, still be practicing, still be working on those Orisa comps, which may explain some things. However, now on their attack here, they're going to run the ball, most likely. That's my hope. I would really like to see, you know, what Icy can do with this far this time around. And this is actually big news, Boop. Not just that it's Chop's birthday here, but a little bit of news for WaveCheck as well. They have never won an assault map, ever, ever.
Yes.
They have an opportunity.
They definitely have an opportunity here. They have a win condition. Hold at A, you're gonna win this out. If you give up A, you're gonna get a draw, which would continue your winless streak on Assault. So I don't know if you're rooting for the underdog here. WaveCheck looking for their first map win on Assault since they've been in trials, since they've been in Contenders. I believe they're 0-7 or 0-8 so far on Assault. By far their worst map type, but this is a really good sign just in general that they got the 3 points. This is good on the coaching staff for Solheim and the rest of his team on WaveCheck already showing improvement on this specific map type, because Triumph might be giving WaveCheck their first ever win on Assault, but Triumph don't want to be that team, right? That's not the kind of streak you want to break for another team. Is Triumph going to be walking in awkward already at 30% to that Transcendence? They've already used the ally and self-particle barriers, and Luff's going to have to hop right away. He got pretty close to 50% in terms of that Primal Rage. He really wants to get that by the time they do try to engage on it to the point, and he is going to be able to do that because he's already at 80%. One more reload, he will be there, so they're going to feel really good about that. 1 minute and 45 seconds now for Triumph for using the rally. This is a really good time to take a lot of space away from WaveCheck. A lot of people are low, but so far only one has gone down. Panic, who has gone down first, and a lot of these fights will be going back to spawn. Kraken is going to get CC'd, but he's going to stay in the mech first now. Is Luff going to end that Primal Rage without getting a ton of value out of it, just hopping up and down just like he's jumping a rope. Triumph now also has a couple more ultimates at their disposal. They're going to get to the grab first. Link's also going to get that first blood on it to Luff, so WaveCheck potentially fumbling the opportunity to win at their first Assault map as Link's finding another kill, and Triumph now going to hold on to every ultimate they developed for this first point. 1 minute and 36 seconds for them to take this map. WaveCheck hoping for a drawdown.
Every ultimate they have, and that's 5 for you math people out there. It is a ton for WaveCheck to hold against when they themselves only have a single sound barrier. It's going to be really tough, but Luff is back on that Reinhardt. It means this is not going to be a free shatter for Decod.
Yeah, the sound barrier is saving the charging targets. Ultrastrike not going to find anything. Graviton Surge going to be a little bit better for WaveCheck at the moment. It's 2 kills now coming in for them, but Triumph, about the extra time that they had coming into this map is going to be what they have remaining here on a B. 1 more minute now to try once more. Chopped has the sound barrier. Looking on the other side, there are a couple ultimates coming online for WaveCheck.
WaveCheck actually has an ultimate advantage here. Jade could pop this rally and WaveCheck could just push out, and Triumph will either have to pop the sound barrier or give up precious time and space that they can't afford here. Triumph, man, you enter the ring with 5 ultimates and exit with a goose egg in terms of progress. They only need 1 tick though, so Chop's gonna have, there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of this Lucio. Whenever he chooses to use that sound barrier, that's going to decide how long Triumph have to live.
Decod escorting the rest of his team on to the point. Sound barrier going to be using offensively so they can try to attack this point. Is Kraken going to find a kill on it to Link? That self barrier was already down, but Decod shattering on the other side. Juvie going to be taking down himself, and more kills for Triumph at the moment. But remember that defensive spawns are always better on Assault. We haven't entered overtime, so they're just going to be regular timing. Is Kraken going to find another kill, but Trey's now going back for Triumph now definitely has an advantage for the time being. They only need 1 tick to win at this map. Will WaveCheck be able to defend? 3 people for WaveCheck, looks like 2 on the plate for Triumph right now. Is Jade going to be going down awkward, finding a couple more frags on that Zenyatta. Lynx is coming right back though, so close to that Graviton Surge. Panic will have a Transcendence at the ready for them.
Oh, that was so incredibly close. If Awkward hadn't gone down, there would no longer be that Transcendence. However, Desperation Reaper is out for WaveCheck. This is where he thrives. So much open space, so many tanks for him to feed on. He takes down yet another 2-3 now for Crackalack, and it looks like WaveCheck will continue their winless streak, but they'll be happy with the draw.
Wave check using that Reaper. Not many times you see the Reaper at all, or even just show up on the kill feed as the draw does go through. So no game fives here. And honestly, even though you're down 1-0 on your wave check, control didn't really go your way. So let's go ahead and let the last two maps decide where the series will end.
Yeah, that was a tough, very hard-fought battle between both of these teams. Wave check showing so much grit. You know, after Triumph's first day win last week, I was wondering, we were all thinking, you know, they're definitely at the very top of like the trials pile, the totem pole. They're a very strong team. They've been together for a long time. A lot of good individual mechanics to be found too, but something about wave check. Are they like the aliens from Signs? Their weakness is just water, because this has been an incredibly close series so far.
It's like wave check is just good enough to barely lose, right? To like a lot of the teams that they're playing against. Remember, they pushed Envy on a couple maps last week that was a 4-0, and Envy was pretty dominant on occasion on 2 of those rounds. Envy actually didn't die, but you know, wave check came back. They weren't intimidated, and I've got to again credit the coaching staff that's been attached to wave check. Solheim, I think, doing some wonders for this team and everyone around Solheim as well.
He's an OG, man. He's been in it since the beginning, so you know he's bringing a lot of experience to the staff.
Well, it is already halftime. It's 1-0 right now. Let's see what adjustments both teams are going to make. We'll see you in 6 minutes.